What's up, everybody? I'm Darth Cuddles, and today we are back with another episode of our Jacksonville Jaguars rebuild. Yesterday we finished off with the draft and the official offseason where we got some really, really good assets in the first round. Obviously, the Jacksonville Jaguars in real life, they're going to hold the first overall pick, and so I obviously did the same thing. We ended up picking up Trevor Lawrence with our first pick. He's going to be great for this team. He's one of the best college quarterbacks to come out in a long, long time. But with our other first round pick, we were also able to pick up Mikel Pearson from Penn State. He is going to be an absolute game changer for us on the outside with Dylan Moses and Miles Jack. I instantly think this linebacking core is going to be that much better. I really do think they are going to be an absolute unit. Once this guy starts to develop, we know he has a hidden depth trait. We don't know what it is yet. He's going to be doing fairly well. One thing I am looking at doing at the moment is potentially looking at some trades for both Joe Sherbert and Taven Bryan. Taven Bryan, he was a former first-round pick the year that the Jacksonville Jaguars went to the AFC Championship game and almost beat the Patriots. He was their first-round pick after that, and he just really hasn't developed into anything. And obviously, we drafted two guys from the D-tackle spot, and we are going to have to trim some of the fat. And honestly, having 5 D tackles is, from a 4-3 perspective, isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just, us getting rid of these two guys is going to be something. But yeah. But then also looking at some of the looking at some of the other departments from team needs. Quarterback, we have our 3 quarterbacks. I'm probably going to end up cutting Jake Luton. Our running back situation, I usually like to have about 4 running backs, but I'm okay with 3. A full pack. Yeah, our wide receiver situation is what it is at the moment. There's nothing really we can do. We're still a young developing team. Obviously, both of these guys are going to be off of the roster. I typically house 3 tight ends. We need another left tackle. We can probably, there's nothing really there. We need another center. Good there. Our DNs, obviously, our D tackles. We're probably going to get rid of 2 or 3 of those guys. We don't need that many. Or we'll just simply move one of them to the right outside side. Actually, let's just do that now. Let's move Leon Jacobs over to the other side. Just so we can even out the team just a little bit. Go, same rating. Our corner situation is what it is. We did pick up Kevin King at the end of yesterday's episode. Our safety situation kind of looks like this. But yeah, Caden Stearns, obviously we signed Carl Joseph to that 3-year deal. But we're gonna kind of, obviously we're gonna see where Stearns is at the end of the year, and he is gonna get playing time because it seems like in this game safeties seem to rotate fairly often, so he is gonna get playing time. I don't know if he's gonna get 500 downs within the year, but that is something that he is going to be able. We are going to figure out pretty quickly, what his depth trait is, whether that's throughout the season or that's at the end of the year. Yeah, just kind of looking at some upgrades here, or not necessarily upgrades, but just additions to the team. Going into left tackle, I always like to pick up rookies at this point, just because it kind of seems like they're the rookie free agents. Go over to center. There really isn't much here, but we'll go with Jake Hansen. just because he's younger. Cost us a little less. But one thing that I guess I already told you that I'm thinking of trading those guys. But alright, so what we are going to do is we are going to head into the game. Alright, so we are in the game. I don't know why, for whatever reason, it is not letting me choose off of playing. So I guess we're just going to have to do this kind of what a normal series would do, but we're going to, instead of watching every game, we're going to go into every single game, and we are just going to kind of just jump forward quarter by quarter. And we are going to try to change it to normal so we actually see what happens. Alright, so remembering that Rob Gronkowski did go to the Bengals, Joe Mixon gets a bunch of yards, so it does look like our defense is struggling up against the Bengals, and it looks like Rob Gronkowski gets a red zone touchdown, which is kind of normal what you see from Rob Gronkowski. Alright, let's see how our offense can do. James Robinson, great first play. We're already back 3 yards. Pass drop, so we go 3 and out. Trevor Lawrence goes 0-2 in his passes thus far in his career. I do think the Bengals are probably a lot better of a team, and we're still going to be struggling, but we should be able to, we'll see where the year takes us. We'll see where it takes us. But yeah, going into 4th and 5, they kick a field goal. We are now down 10-0 in the preseason. Touchback by D.D. Westbrook. James Robinson, 3-yard rush. There we go. First ever completion. Even though it is preseason, does not particularly matter. We just want to see how the game goes. That's a nice 24-yard reception by Trevor Lawrence. Alright, so we're making a little bit of a drive here, which is good to see. 5-yard rush. Okay, so DJ Reader injured for the Bengals. Incomplete pass. 2nd and goal. 1-yard TD run by James Robinson. Alright, so moving into the second quarter of play. Again, we are going to actually we're going to jump for another just 1 quarter here. Looks like Najee Harris was drafted by the Bengals to be kind of a backup role to can't believe I'm forgetting his name, Joe Mixon. There we go. Well, yeah, Najee Harris is putting in work this drive against our defense, but now the Bengals are starting to put in some of their second guys, which is not surprising. Pretty much the first preseason game is always going to be, kind of first quarter, playing your starters, but then after that, you're kind of doing everything else. Let's see, okay, and we allow a touchdown. Let's see what our backup offense can do. Tyler Davis from Gardner Minshew. Let's see if we can go down for another touchdown, make this game a little bit closer. After this drive, I am going to speed it up, mainly because I want to see more of our starters in there as opposed to our backups. But it is good to kind of see this drive, see if we can complete it. Cordell Patterson getting some good rushing yards for us. Last couple been 5 for 5. Alright, let's see if they can finish it off. 4th and 7, kick a field goal. Alright, so we are going to jump into fast. We get, again, right now it's nothing too special. None of our starters are in there. It's just kind of seeing how the game is going to play out. And then we'll take a look at the stats at the end of the game. During the regular season, we are going to kind of do this for the full entirety of the game. And we actually end up with a victory. I don't know why it does this screen sometimes at the end. It's all buggy. But yeah, so we do get our first preseason victory, which again, it's a preseason victory, so you can't really say it's that impressive. Just means our backups are better than their backups. But our starting unit did kind of get bullied a little bit by their starters. So let's take a look at the box score here. Just look at the Jags. So it looks like Gardner Minshew played a pretty good game. 296 yards, 1 touchdown. He did throw an interception. And Lawrence, he got 52 passing yards. He was sacked once. He was 50%. Looking at a rushing attack, Cordell Patterson, James Robinson, and Gardner Minshew all got rushing touchdowns. So, I'll say Gardner Minshew had himself a pretty good game. I think, he's playing for that backup role. Colin Johnson, John Ross actually did fairly well. Again, we didn't really play much of our starters. Taking a look here, no one gave up a sack, so that was Lawrence's fault. Dylan Moses comes in with 10 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Did we get any sacks on the game? Did we get any interceptions? We did not, but that is great to see 2 of our rookies, Dylan Moses and Caden Stearns, both leading the team in tackles. Obviously, 6 tackles tied, but still a really, really good job to see these 2 guys at the top of the list. Kicking wise, Josh Lambo missed a field goal attempt. You don't really like to see that early on, but we move towards the Buffalo Bills. All right, we are now into preseason game number 2. So again, we are going to jump in and just kind of take a quick peek here. So I don't know what happened over that first drive, but it looks like they might have gone 3 and out. But this is a game where I want to see how the offense is going to move, and it looks like they just completely fizzle out on that 3 and out. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to see 2 quarters of this game with our starters in, which is really, really exciting to see. Let's hope our defense can somewhat hold the Bills' offense. Miles Jack intercepts it. That is great to see. Again, I really think our linebacking core is going to be that much more improved, because I do think Mikael Pearson on the opposite side of Miles Jack, and then you also place Dylan Moses in the middle. It's going to be really, really, really good to see. But, James Robinson had gotten another touchdown that is really, really nice to see. Cole Beasley loses a yard on the play. Devin Singletary loses 3 yards on the play. Knocked down by Josh Allen. That's right, Josh Allen also, with that superstar X factor coming from the edge, he is going to be pretty much one of the centerpieces of this defense. Let's see if we can drive the ball down the field yet again. Incomplete pass, not to worry, still early on. I'm interested to see the stat lines in this game as opposed to last game, just because he was 50% on his completions. Obviously, he didn't play that much longer. But yeah. He only played for 1 half now. He's probably going to get the opportunity to play 2 halves. So it's going to be really good to see how he develops over the course of the preseason. All right, it does look like Buffalo is potentially going another 3 and out. And they do go 3 and out again. James Robinson is putting in a bit of work again next quarter. Let's see if we can get another good drive going. Looks like DJ Shark is doing some decent amount of work. Again, this is kind of more of a truer representation of what our starting offense is going to be. Josh Oliver gets the 21-yard reception from Trevor Lawrence. You'd love to see it. I don't know if these are just kind of throwaway passes or they're simply just being dropped or they're just complete misses, but that was a huge strike by Trevor Lawrence. So he now has 2 touchdowns on the day. That's something I love to see. Hopefully our defense can hold back the Buffalo Bills, because I think, by us holding back this Buffalo Bills, I think our backup should be able to put in a pretty good amount of work. Especially with bringing Minshew in, him being a 73 overall as our backup quarterback. I know that's better than some of the starting teams, or some of the starting quarterbacks for some teams in the league. So that is pretty solid for us. And we should be able to do good things with him as our backup. If Lawrence does happen to get hurt, then it is a situation of where you don't really want Minshew in there over Lawrence, but you do have decent backup there. Tavion Bryant just proven more why we should be potentially looking at trading him away, just because he hasn't developed for the team, and he's costing us penalties, because I think that's probably the second or third penalty in the 2 games that I've seen. So it does look like our defense lets Buffalo come back in, but Buffalo does have a good offense, so I'm not entirely surprised by that. But let's see how our offense, comes back at this. It does look like Laviska Shenault is our kind of number 1 target at the moment, and D.D. Westbrook goes for the 66-yard touchdown reception. So it does look like T. Lawrence is kind of having himself a day. D.D. Westbrook is doing his thing. That's why we brought him back. Oh. Going into halftime, it does look like, unless something drastic changes here, it does look like it is going to be probably 24-10. I think Buffalo will probably end up kicking a field goal here. Maybe not. They end up punting it. Yeah, so we just end the half. We are going to jump forward. I think we have all of our backups in. Let's just take a quick check. Yeah, we do have our backups in. I'm not too terribly worried. I just want to get through the rest of the game. I really only want to be watching the starting offense, or pretty much just the starters for our team. And then we can take a look at the stats at the end of the game. It does look like we have done a pretty solid job there. Alright, let's take a look at the box score for the Jag. So Trevor Lawrence, 20 for 33, 252 yards, 60% completion, so he went up. He also threw 3 interceptions. Gardner Minshew, obviously having a lot less playing time. He threw 10 for 15, 93 yards, 66% completion. It does not look like they were sacked. And then rushing, James Robinson did 10 rushes, 48 yards, so that's not bad. Wide receiving, Laviska Shenault he got 8 passes, 55 yards. DJ Shark, 6 catches for 85 and a touchdown. D.D. Westbrook, 4 for 89. And then we kind of just spread the ball over from there. And then James Robinson caught a 1-yard pass. Sacks, it looks like Jake Hansen, one of the guys that we brought in, gave up a sack. And then looking from the defensive standpoint, Carl Joseph and then Caden Stearns. Dylan Moses and Caden Stearns both up there, near the top, which is good to see. No sacks, which is unfortunate. But then we also had Jared Wilson with an interception and an interception from Miles Jack. So it's really, really positive to see. Josh Lambo has a good return game, or a good follow-up game after missing a field goal, going perfect in both the field goals and the extra points. Alright, now we have a couple of upgrades for our guys here. Devin Hamilton, again, we're just, nothing's too special here, just give him a quick upgrade. He's a rookie from the previous draft for the Jags. Colin Johnson, we'll just try to get him as best as we can, because he's not one of our top guys. Josh Oliver, I don't know if he's going to turn into anything tight end wise for us. We will see. Moving on into week 3, it looks like we have another upgrade. Jake Hansen actually gets an upgrade for us, and he is now up to a 61 overall as our backup. Going up against the Browns, they are 2-0. Aren't we 2-0? Oh, we won that first game. Did we not win that first? I guess we lost. Apparently, I was not paying attention enough. But yeah, jumping into game number 3 of the preseason, this is probably where we are going to see the most of our starting offense. Probably 3/4 of offense. This should be good. Alright, we are back in this. And so, heading into it, again, first quarter, we are just going to go normal. It does look like we missed the first drive, which I think is probably going to be a theme. But going up against the Cleveland Browns, they do have a really solid run attack, but also a passing attack, obviously, with Beckham, Landry, Austin Hooper, and then the running backs, Hunt and Chubb. Hunt and Chubb are both pretty solid out of the backfield catching the ball. So this should be a pretty tough game for our starting defense. I'm interested to see how our starting offense does. Obviously, I don't think we went 3 and out, but I don't think we did anything special after that. But it does look like the Browns are going to score here regardless. They do get a Nick Chubb rushing touchdown. Let's see how our starting offense responds. I really want to see them complete a full, solid drive, even if it doesn't end in a touchdown. I would still want to see them, and they don't do it. So essentially, with these drives right now, what I want to see against quality teams, because right now the Browns, they are a quality team. I'm not going to say they're a superstar team. They're a quality team. And when you were one of the worst teams the year previously, which the Jags were, we need to see constantly building against these teams and putting up decent drives. We don't need to result in touchdowns every single drive, but we should be bringing them down the field with our offense, getting our defense a little bit of a breather, so that way they are not getting absolutely they're just dying on the sidelines every time they walk off. 3 plays later, they're back on. I want to see them at least having extended drives. From my perspective as the general manager, in the sense, I want to see those elongated drives. But it does look like our defense is kind of getting roasted here. They are not having themselves a really, really good game. Let's see how this continues to play out. But yeah, I do think this is probably going to end up being just a loss. Just the Browns are a good team. The Browns are a good team in both the sim, real life, but even more so the sim, and we are down 21-0. This is where I really want to see the offense get a spark under their ass and kind of play a little bit harder. A 3-yard loss isn't the way you want to start the drive, but he gets an 8-yard gain, so that makes it more manageable. We do end up going 3 and out, which is not what I want to see, but again, we're not expecting this team. Frankly, this season, I'm not expecting them to be playoff bound. I do hope out of this season we can get 6 wins, because I think Trevor Lawrence is good enough to sneak us out 6-ish wins. But yeah, if we can get 6 wins this season, I will be happy, because that means it's a successful rookie season for Lawrence, and then we can start building the team a little bit more. You know, our guys are going to develop as they do. It looks like, unfortunately, we let another touchdown go through. Oh, this is absolutely rough to see. At this point, getting blown out this badly, there's just no more point. And in watching pretty much the rest of the game, even if we do, it's just a complete and utter blowout. Oh, it's bad. So we're just going to get out of this game as quick as possible, take a look at some of the stats, see what happened. Alright. Trevor Lawrence went 8 for 23 through 2 interceptions, showing a little bit of those rookie mistakes. Gardner Minshew he was better. He was 9 for 11, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Again, I just think this is the first time that you actually seen him go up against a really, really quality team. And again, this team itself, the defense was providing no help. Obviously, when you throw interceptions, that doesn't really help. Cam Robinson let a sack through. But looking at the defensive side of the ball, this is the first time that we've actually seen Joe Sherbert actually surpass Dylan Moses in terms of tackles. Any sacks. Josh Allen finally gets sacked. No interceptions. So this is a game that basically we just walk away and we completely forget about. We just don't pay attention to it. It is a bit of a rough one, that is for sure. Let's hope Trevor Lawrence can now have a bounce back game against the Denver Broncos. It looks like we do have an upgrade to Josiah Scott. We're going to keep him in the slot for the corner position because he stays within that scheme fit. We're going to cut, obviously, all the players after the game. We're going to go through and kind of make my own personal decisions for the cuts. But yeah, see you in the game. Alright, so we are in against the Denver Broncos here. Unfortunately, I don't know why it skipped a little faster ahead. I must have went play the moments. But yeah, here we go. So we did get intercepted by AJ Boyd, the former Jacksonville Jaguar. Denver goes ahead and gets themselves an early touchdown. Let's see how our offense responds to this. Hopefully with a solid drive. Incomplete pass by Trevor Lawrence. And unfortunately, it does look like we go 3. Oh, they get a holding call. So that means, of course, our offense just keeps trying to hurt itself in this instant. And we end up punting the ball away. Jerry Jeudy goes back for a holding call. Let's hopefully stop them right here. For us, that would be really, really key and crucial. It does look like we get the stop on 4th and 1, so we get the ball about at the 28-yard line, or looks like 30. Let's go out and get a score on this drive. Trevor Lawrence hasn't gone down for a scoring drive. Justin Simmons gets the sack on him. And then Von Miller gets the sack on him. Oh, poor Trevor Lawrence. He's just getting kind of picked apart at the moment. Again, let's hope our defense can get some stops. CJ Henderson was injured on the play. That is not something that I want to see because he is one of our key players on defense, especially in the secondary. Let's hope it is not a long-term injury. Alright, so jumping forward into the next quarter just to see where, if it even is our starting offense or if it's our backup offense. It does kind of look like it might be their backups, but I want to see what our team does. Hopefully they don't give up a score. And I think we stopped them there. Yeah, we did. They end up getting the field goal. Let's see, is it our backup? And if it is, we'll just move forward. Gardner Minshew, it was our backup, but it does look like the Denver defense is kind of going after the team a little bit, because I've now seen at least 3 sacks throughout the game. So it looks like we're kicking a fair amount of field goals at the moment. We finally go down and get a scoring drive. We did end up kicking another field goal, and we are back. We actually go to overtime, and we can't seal the deal. Oh, is it gonna be? Oh, what was that? Okay. Looking at the end of this, we'll take a look at the box score, because again, that fun little glitch at the end. CJ Henderson gets himself another upgrade point. We know he is a superstar as going into year 2. So that is really good. And then for the rest of these guys, I'm just going to let the game decide. Not too worried. Alright, let's take a look at the box score here. So for the Jags, Trevor Lawrence he got sacked twice. Gardner Minshew got sacked 4 times. So our offensive line did no help whatsoever. Again, Trevor Lawrence threw 3 passes. Or through 6 passes for 50% completion, but Gardner Minshew threw 315 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Tough game for the quarterbacks, but they're going up against a really, really good defense, it looked like. Cordell Patterson, I really like the pickup that we made there. Colin Johnson got 103 yards. That is just... hate to see it. Going to the defensive side of the ball again. For the second time this season, we have seen Dylan Moses, or in the preseason, we've seen Dylan Moses lead the team in tackles. Kavion Chason got a sack. We also got an interception. We got 2 interceptions, one by Leon Jacobs and one by Caden Stearns. So again, our rookies are performing, which is really, really nice to see. So going in, we need to cut 8 players. So, where we are going to do this, going in here, Jake Luton, you are going to be one of the players that we release. No running backs, wide receivers. I'm pretty okay with this. Tight ends, we're going to get rid of these 2 guys just simply because they are not anything useful for us. No one needs a 27 overall player. Left tackle, we're good there. Honestly, we'll probably keep those guys, all of our offensive linemen. Again, we are going to release these guys, so this is going to be... That is 5 players released. Left outside linebacker, that's 6. Honestly, we probably don't even need Quincy Williams either. That would be 7. And then, honestly, Brandon Watson, that's going to be 8, unless he has a dev trade that we don't know about, and we don't. So that is 8. That clears up our team. Yeah, and so our first game is going to be up against the San Francisco 49ers. Well, let's answer this media question. Jonathan Coachman, coming off a poor season a year ago, and now a less than impressive preseason, where is this team headed this year? So our 3 options is, there's always this win now mentality, and it can be dangerous. We're going to win. It just might take a little bit more time for everything to come together. It's time to wipe the slate clean. There are 16 games ahead of us, and I think we can get to the playoffs. I do not think we can get to the playoffs. Win or lose, in the past are irrelevant to me. This team, like every other team, expects to go to the Super Bowl. We do not expect to go to the Super Bowl. We are just going to try to bring everything together. Ticket prices, again, I don't give a shit about ticket prices. You know, it's a football, like, no one cares. No one cares. Alright, so it does look like we have Josh Allen another point up. He is an 85 overall monster. His abilities, Fearmonger, Bog, and the defensive rally. So, looking at the 49ers team, let's just take a look at their roster and see if it is going to be a good game. Did I already pass them? There they are. So it does look like they have Jimmy Garoppolo. So it does actually look like in the quarterback comparison, we are the better quarterbacking team. Halfback, they do have Rashawn Morstead, who is pretty good. So they definitely have the better running back. And without a doubt, the fullback, they have a much more completed wide receiver room than us. Obviously, Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayoko are pretty good. They have a couple of good guys there. George Kittle is going to be absolutely horrible for us to try to deal with. Their left tackle isn't great. So we're hoping on the left side that we can get some pressure because he is only a 69 overall. But then their defense, obviously we have to contend with Mr. Nick Bosa, who is just going to tear us a new one. Then Javon Kinlaw. Then Adam Butler down the middle. Then Fred Warner as well. Their secondary, obviously they have Richard Sherman, but it kind of starts to drop off pretty severely after that. But this is going to be a incredibly tough game for this team. Obviously, the 49ers this year, in real life this year, they have just dealt with so many injuries to key players that it's really tough for them to really do anything. So this is going to be a tough game, and this is a game that we are going to see starting at the beginning of next episode. So that is all it for today. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.